Hola, witches.
Hello, hello.
All right. So tonight we are going to be talking about the Dumb Supper, Deviant Witchery style. So let's talk before we go into our personal style, the Deviant Witches. Let's talk about the Dumb Supper, why people do it, what it is, and all the general generic expression of the Dumb Supper.
Well, I've honestly only done one dumb supper ever. Um, and so, but the way we did it was, and after doing research on it and everything, was basically, it is a dinner. Everyone's quiet. You set places for the dead, and nobody talks. We all eat, and that was it.
That pretty much sums it up. And why we do it is like it's to honor the dead. It's to honor those who have crossed over and who no longer physical. So it's to really we create spaces at the table for our dead. Make them a plate, give them their recognition,
Right.
and the idea, from what I was taught, is to give remembrance, give honor. So you get together, you have a supper, you have food, drinks, and you do this in silence. In silence, because apparently silence means you're giving more attention somehow, or you're thinking about those who have
Right.
passed on. You're internally, you're thinking and you're contemplating their life, your experiences with them. You are really channeling almost that mourning process, that experience where you connected with them, and you're just allowing yourself to really go through that process and enjoy your food, and really have your own memories and your own experiences and your own beliefs of that person. So you're giving them honor by keeping shit to yourself, apparently.
Right, yeah. I mean, and the idea, and like you said, in all seriousness, oh my gosh, I'm trying not to like cough really loud and cough all over the computer screen. Anyway, um, is you are supposed to focus on the people that you love, and you're supposed to kind of open that channel, that conduit, and sending them, respectful, meaningful messages in silence. And I get that, it is a very, to me it's very almost religious. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Uh
And
huh.
I don't know how, I really did not enjoy that aspect of it very much. It's the whole be quiet in church, don't talk, so you can focus on what's going on and absorb the message. And I do understand why people would do that. I really do get it. But to me, it had such a churchy, oh my God, I'm so bored now
Well,
feeling.
you know, um, yeah, and another possible reasoning behind that is um, when people are in silence, they pay attention to what they're programmed to do. So they know that they're there to honor their dad. They're there to honor that individual, those individuals. They're there to pay the respects. They're there to keep those memories alive. So they keep silent to follow through with what they're programmed to do, what their intent is for that supper. And so it's easier to control a mass. Just got really cold in here. That's weird. Um, it's so bizarre.
Told you there was something in the air. I
Oh
told
my
you.
gosh, that is so weird. Anyways, there it's easier to set the intent for a group of individuals who are not always going to be magically oriented and know what's going on. To for them to be silent. You're silent. You know what you're supposed to be doing. When you have people who are a little more loud or talking, you can't always control the flow of energy that way. So that's
Right.
probably one of the many reasons why we or most people remain silent for the dumb supper.
Right. And to me, I mean, it was a very interesting experience, and definitely, I would say at least try the traditional way of doing it once, because it is an interesting experience. Um, to me, it felt very heavy. Like, the atmosphere in the room changed. It was very heavy and very, well, like Michael expressed, very mournful. It was very sad in a lot of ways. And which is not bad necessarily. We miss the people that we love that have passed on. So I can, you definitely understand why it is sort of a heavy, sad, mournful experience. But for me, I like to be happy when I remember the people who passed on.
Right, and I think it also depends on your spirits. It depends on the spirits that you honor, you connect to. Yeah, I guess it depends on the energy that you're creating, the tone that you're creating that night.
Right. And it does, but to me, even like a lot of the people that I love that passed on were not quiet people. And I think that's why it was a lot of it, why the sad, whenever my grandmothers would show up and stuff, and they looked very sad.
Right. Yeah, well,
just almost disappointed, and I'm just like, yeah, this is not how they like to be remembered.
Right. And another thing that we have to consider is you have more awareness when you're silent, in a sense, especially for those who are not normally trained or naturally trained to work with spirit. So you invite them to your table, you invite them to your supper, you make that place for them. And so it's easier to connect when you're in silence, and it's easier to feel and pick up on these very subtle, well, sometimes subtle, not always, energies and influences when you're silent. So you're tuned within, you're paying attention, you're focusing, your awareness is on point because you are not distracting or being distracted by anyone's voice.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And you don't, a lot of noise going around or anything else that helps you focus and sort of attune to those energies. And when you have mundanes, at the table as well, because some people do, it helps them too in a way. Granted, I mean, it's kind of challenging to have mundanes at the table for the simple fact that people want to make noise when there's not noise.
Right.
And it's a little bit easier, at least for me, because I meditate every day, twice a day. It's not hard for me. And whenever I'm at home by myself, I usually don't have any kind of anything going. And I just sort of listen to the house, and it helps me focus on doing things that I want to do. And so I don't mind the silence, but, most people aren't used to that.
Right. And
with their spirituality, it doesn't require that.
Exactly. And well, I have family, a Mexican family and Native American, and all my family, they're fucking loud. They're loud as fuck. They like to party. They're just loud.
Right.
And that doesn't change. In fact, I think they're louder when they die. When they kill over.
Right.
So let's, okay, we've kind of, and I think everyone has this, a very good general idea of what a dumb supper is. You're silent, you honor the dead, you pay your respects. It's very respectful. And it's very interesting to go through that whole process, eating dinner and everything else in silence. So it's a very unique experience that I feel like everyone should at least try once. Now we will share what the Deviant Witches do, a Deviant Witchery style dumb supper, which is kind of loud and crazy. So, Miss Melissa, what say you?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, my family, we're Irish and German, and we're loud. So, Irish, German, and Scottish. Ain't no silent person in any of that. And this is both sides. So, yeah, we're all loud. We like to talk. We like to laugh above anything else. We love music, and just dinners whenever my whole family, when everyone was still, you know, the prime of my family, when everyone was still living, and oh, I still had all my grandparents and all that. We were loud. Anytime we got together, it was lots of booze, lots of food, lots of talking and laughing, and really a big tradition was sharing memories of past meetings or past incidences and things like that. And then after dinner, more booze, and then people were dancing. And to me, that is what I would rather do for my dumb supper, is lots of good food, lots of talking, a lot of sharing stories about those who have passed on, and even talking as though they were there.
Right. That's you know, that's kind of like Deviant Witchery style. We like to express, we like to talk, we like to commune, we like to be loud, we like to have fun. And the interesting thing here, and the very important thing here, is when you're doing it this way, you need to still make sure that you honor and you respect the spirits that you are housing, the spirits that you are allowing to be, or you're asking to be a part of your experience. So it's very important for someone, you know, the head of the table or the two heads, or, you know, whatever, it's very important to have these individuals that know their place and keep it focused. So make sure that you have conversations of, you know, the people who you're housing, the people who are at your table that are spiritually at your table. You know, make sure to talk of the dead. Make sure to talk very great of the dead. Make sure to tell their stories and, you know, anything that they enjoyed, the stories and memories that they really enjoyed when they were here with you. Make sure to express those. And it's great and to have people placed throughout your setting, your table. If you're all sitting at the table, you know, you have one person here and they know that they're going to keep it on point. And then you have other people, and then you have another person who also knows that they kind of need to direct that energy. They need to keep that conversation on point. It's okay to allow conversation to travel a little bit, but you need to make sure that you keep it directed and going, and really state the intent, and make sure you always bring it back to the intent of the whole Deviant Witchery Dumb Supper experience, which is communication, having fun, sharing stories, but all in honor of the dead, all in honor of those who are spiritually present at the table.
Exactly. You know, and I personally would have, you know, usually people will set the spiritual, you know, the places for the dead all together, kind of in a section. And personally, I would kind of have them spread out the way they would normally sit at a normal family gathering. You know, my grandma Richie on my dad's side, she would always sit next to, you know, my dad, and she wanted me on the other side, oldest grandchild, you know. So that's how, you know, I would set her. And make sure that they had, you know, because that's comfortable. That's something they remember from life that will always, that stick with them, you know, and it's respectful. That's where they would have sat if they were still living, you know. And so to me, it is more treating them as though they haven't passed versus, you know, honoring their spirit. It's more like honoring their life this way instead of honoring their spirit. Now that's why they're coming back to you, because they have that life connection to you.
Right. Yeah. And you absolutely, because you want to make sure you keep their memory alive. You want to make sure you utilize implements like utensils and stuff that they like to use. You wouldn't use like different stuff that they would not like. You wouldn't have food that they would not like at their table. So you need to make sure that you keep it to something that they're going to love and they're going to enjoy, because that's calling their spirit, that's rooting their spirit in this experience. It's making it more physical.
Right. So if you have great grandma's, cast iron skillet that she always made cornbread in every Thanksgiving or whatever, you use that, you use that in honor of her. And even while preparing meals, preparing the meal, you want to use things that make you think of and strongly resonate with you and the spirits that you are going to house at your table. And to me, that is which even in a traditional dumb supper, that is, one of the ways that I prepared for my traditional dumb supper is using, pots, pans, the casserole dish that my grandmother always used, or the salad bowl that my great-grandmother used all the time, things like that. So that's a big part of either or. The traditional dumb supper or our dumb supper, so Deviant Witchery style dumb supper. But also, if your great grandma was a big, Chardonnay fan, I would have Chardonnay at the table, even if that's not my favorite wine, things like that.
Right, because at this time and during this experience, it's about them.
Yes. Exactly.
It's not about anyone else. It's about the dead. It's about their memory. It's about their legacy. It's about what they pass on and what they will do. It's about keeping that memory, that experience, that legacy alive and thriving. So it's very important that, during this time, you keep the communication active and fluid. You don't allow it to drop. Don't allow conversations to wander where people are just talking about nothing important. You have to keep it on point. You have to make sure that your conversations are sharing memories, even if it's not memories including the dead. You just want to make sure it's family-oriented, stuff that they would love to hear and experience and be a part of. You could even share recent memories, because your dead, they probably already know. They probably were there. They probably witnessed those things. So talking to them, sharing with them, as if it happened and they were still there, it's very important that you do that. It shows respect, it shows honor, and you just want to keep that energy and that momentum. You want to keep that.
Right, exactly. And didn't you want to mention the Book of Life?
Oh my gosh, yes. You should totally watch the Book of Life. Super cute movie. But, I mean, it's very specific. It's the Day of the Dead, which is not the same thing as Samhain, as Halloween. It's not the same thing, y'all. But if you watch it's super cute. The movie, the Book of Life, it's a love story, really, and it's about family, it's about connection, it's about processes. If you watch it, it really teaches you the importance of family, the importance of living your life, and just the importance of connection and how real it is for people.
Right.
So it's super important. I think it'd be a great movie to watch, to get inspiration and to feel connected, to see how important it is to honor the dead, to have an integral part of your experience.
Right. Well, isn't Halloween, which was originally All Hallows Eve, meaning the day before the hollow day that they observed for the dead, and the Day of the Dead, even for Hispanic culture, is traditionally usually the day after Halloween, right?
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
It's the first or the second,
Oh,
and I'm not sure what makes it fall differently. But but that movie is super cute, and I love the way it really shows you connections as far as remembering those who passed on and not being all mopey and sad about the fact that they passed on, but remembering their life. I mean, that is, for many people, the true definition of immortality, is someone is left on to carry their legacy and their life story through the generations, and that's what it's about, is honoring those people and not being in mourning for those people.
No, it's about life. It's about fun. It's about, upliftment, and just it's about good experience. It's not a sad thing. It's like a temporary sad thing. Like you remember, like, oh, you're not here, but you are here, because the more I give you, the more I remember you, the more I share my stories with you, the more I communicate with you as if you are still here in the
Right.
physical, the more I keep you alive. The more that you are alive in our hearts, the more you're alive in our experience. So it's important to do that. Yeah. And
Yeah.
earlier this week, Miss Melissa shared a video on how to set up your altar, or your table. Your table, which is still an altar to me, like your table at a dumb supper, especially Deviant Witchery dumb supper, is your altar, because it is your place to recognize the dead. It's it's where everyone's going to be at, where they honor the dead, they give that communication. So creating it to be a live altar is very important. And like how to set different things and different arrangements and stuff, Miss Melissa did do that earlier this week, which we will link here, and you should totally check out, just because it gives you more information, a lot of inspiration to follow through with placement of things.
Yes. Yeah, but and to me, if you do work with your ancestors and you already have an ancestral altar, it's going to be really simple to transfer or share that energy with the table that you are going to be serving your guests on. So, and that's just another way to incorporate that honoring and respect for for your ancestors. So, bringing the candles that you use on your ancestral altar to your table. Of course, crystals. I really enjoy snowflake obsidian for stuff like this. And, obsidian, clear quartz, all fun things. But now I have a few crystals that are specific to people. Like my grandmother loved garnets. That was her favorite thing in the whole wide world. She'd rather have a garnet. I know, right? She'd rather have a garnet than a diamond any day. So I have a specific garnet that's just for her. I don't use any workings unless I'm working with her. So that would be something that I'd put on the table, and things like that. There's, you can light the candles on the table. If you don't want to move the candles from your ancestral altar, you light the candles on the table with the candles you use on your ancestral altar, sort of connecting those two spaces.
Right. I like that idea. Absolutely. Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah. There's so many different things you can do. And obviously you want, you want to cater your table, your food, to the liking of obviously the people around you, but also the dead. You want to make sure to at least have food and stuff that they liked in life. And I did a video earlier this week as well, sharing different recipes, which you can, tweak to your own liking, but just a few different recipes that I like, that I use, and you can take and you can, have it on your table and share with your loved ones and your dead. But yeah, it's super fun, and you have to make sure you have a fun experience. You have to make sure that you create the atmosphere for the dead to be honored, to feel respected, to feel at home. It's about community. It's about connection. It's about networking. It's about connecting from the heart space. It's about love.
Yes, it is, definitely. And, and I just want to go over this because I feel like it's something that people may not know about, but whenever you're done with your meal, the plates that you set out for your those who passed on, your ancestors, I put food on the plates because it's supposed to be an offering to them. Now, whenever I'm done, I don't, we have dogs, we feed our scraps to the dogs. I don't feed those scraps to the dogs. What I do personally is there is a tree that I kind of reserve in my backyard for things like that, because it is a tree that pretty much all of those who passed on in my life have, enjoyed that particular type of tree. It's an oak tree. So what I do is I place that food at the base of the oak tree. And not, that way it still is a connection to them. It feeds the oak tree, and it's very respectful. Definitely not something that I wouldn't rake those plates off into the trash, because that is an offering for them, and it should remain with them. So that is how I dispose of the food afterwards, at least the food on their plates.
Right, absolutely. And I know people who are, lucky enough to have a sort of crossroads near their property. So they'll take it to a crossroads and they'll dispose of it there. Or, just somewhere of significance, like you place it there, you leave it there. I put actual food out as well, but I don't just toss it. I place it outside. I allow nature and spirit to take it.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, that's kind of the Deviant Witchery dumb supper. You have fun, you talk a lot, you drink, you share stories, you keep it on point, keep it about the dead, you keep it fun and adventurous, and you connect. You make sure to channel love. You make sure to have fun, like I said, and just really make sure everyone's having a good time. And if you have kids, it's even better. Like little kids, the dead love that. They love seeing the next generation being present and learning and hearing stories from like those who have passed on, hearing their life stories, hearing all of that, and making sure that at your table there are points of reference, markers, or something that signify the dead.
Right.
Again, having great food, a good meal, and music too. If music is important to some cultures, and music is very important to some people. So having music, boom, that just intensifies the experience.
Yes, playing music that they would enjoy, that they played themselves in previous family gatherings. Like I know my grandparents were, at least on my dad's side, were all about dancing after they got really drunk. So they play all kinds of music, and it was a lot of fun. And so playing stuff like that, and that also, music has a very strong spiritual vibration in itself.
Right.
And so that will really help connect you. And for me, I personally, because I'm the witch in the family, I'm the psychic in the family, so I let people know when a family member has arrived. It's like, oh, hey, y'all, female witchy right there. She's here. I can see her. She's happy. She's smiling. And to me, that's it brings that connection and makes it stronger, because now everyone at the table is focused on her and either trying to see her or trying to feel her. And that makes the experience even more, because they feel like they can experience it too, even if they can't see her or feel her.
Right. Absolutely. Yes, I like that. And just to add a little bit about what Melissa said on, ancestral candles and such, you can make sure to have even pillars, like light them up and keep it for this experience. Keep it for honoring at the dumb supper. So after you're finished, if they don't go out, you can keep them for the following year, and hold them in a sacred place. Like put them away, pack them up, and know that that's what it's for. And you have that for the following year. And as it burns out, light another candle, transfer the energy. You just transfer the energy to that candle, so you keep it going. And each year you build these memories. You build these candles. They contain all of your memories, all of your fun, that energy from experiencing each other and laughing and sharing memory, sharing all kinds of things. So each year that candle intensifies, and it's very powerful. So then each year it becomes easier to pull in spirit.
Yes, definitely. Also, if you do not have an ancestral altar and you try this dumb supper and it inspires you to start one, you can use those candles for your ancestral altar. You know, that would be an excellent, really an excellent start to an ancestral altar because they're so infused with the spirit energy as it is, like Michael was discussing earlier. So you can definitely transfer that to an ancestral altar if you decide, hey, maybe I should start working with my ancestors more. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you'd like to express before we come to a close?
No, I don't think so. Oh, me personally, I usually do, well, I've only done it once, but this year I'm going to do it again, more this version of a dumb supper, the Deviant Witchery style dumb supper. For me, I will probably do it on the day after Halloween, on the actual, Day of the Dead. Uh, because I feel like or, I might do it Halloween, it just depends. Halloween is usually really crazy at my house. So either if I don't do it on Halloween, it'll be the day after, possibly the day before Halloween.
Ooh, very nice. And y'all, if you have experience with the Dumb Supper, if you have thoughts on the Dumb Supper, please share it in the comments below. Let us know what your experiences have been, any that you can share. If you have anything that you do to prep, if you have any thoughts on, being more communicative. Anyways, communicating
Yes.
better. You know what I'm saying. How you feel about like the Deviant Witchery style of this form. So let us know. And yeah, we will talk to y'all
Yeah.
later.
Bye.